Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Alyson and Jacqueline here. If you want to know more information about who we are, we'll have a little link in the description box there. We are excited. We're getting closer and closer to the release of the book that we have contributed to. It's coming out just in a few weeks now. And it's called Women of Worth, Mental Health Matters. And it's really all about women. It's a collaborative effort, women coming together to talk about their stories and talk about their mental health struggles and challenges and some of the experiences that they've had either within the mental health system or outside of the system. So an amazing group of women. And really, we've had such fun doing it.
A real collection of stories and, personal and professional insights. And I think part of what Jackie and I are drawn to have conversations about is that everybody experiences these things. So although the women that have contributed these chapters to this book are all telling some part of their story, the reality is that we all have stories. Everybody has a struggle. And
you don't get through life without a struggle.
You don't. And you don't get through life, like as a physician, Jackie, right? Are you going to get through life without an injury or an illness?
No, of course not.
Why would we think we're going to get through life without a
mental health challenge?
A mental health challenge or a crisis or an illness. Sometimes those challenges can be acute, right? And sometimes they can be chronic, just like in the medical world.
In the medical world. Actually, when I talk to my patients about depression, I use an analogy that I think works well for them, in that I compare depression to diabetes, because oftentimes they come to me and they feel guilty or ashamed about being depressed. And I say, well, look, diabetes is an insulin problem, and depression is a serotonin problem with other factors. But we don't say to someone with diabetes, well, you don't need that insulin.
Right.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine without
no
it.
problem, right?
Yeah.
So we really need to take a look at medication for mental health in much the same manner, at least as a physician. Really what I'm trying to do is reduce the shame and embarrassment associated with the diagnoses.
Well, we have to realize, this isn't, it is so time to bury the story of this as a character flaw in some way. We have tons of science behind us telling us, this is a biochemical issue.
True.
And yes, your mood is affected, but this, it's all in your head. That is so of the past. What we want to do now is really, we're not saying, modern medicine has all the answers, because it doesn't. Or that, counseling is the cure for everything. We're not saying those things. But the reality is that we are, we're dealing with our body chemistry and our body vulnerabilities, and that affects us both physically and mentally.
Exactly. And that's part of what we touch on in our chapter in our book, actually. Is we talk about mental health being health. Mental health is health, and we're the message that we're really trying to give. At the end of the chapter, our chapter in our book, we have a list of about 10 tips. I guess you would say tips. Right? Tips for dealing with mental illness, whether that is with yourself or with somebody close to you. I know one of the bigger ones that I think I've learned as a physician is to talk about it. So if you're the person experiencing the mental health issue, talk about it. Be vulnerable. Be open to other people about what's happening with you. And then conversely, if you have a loved one in your life that's experienced, that is struggling, talk about it with them. I noticed that you're struggling. Can I be of some help? Do you need support in some way? It's time to stop just sort of ignoring a situation that you see.
And ignoring what makes us uncomfortable. Because that's what happens with a lot of people. They're uncomfortable, so they just ignore it. And what we're trying to encourage is that if you're uncomfortable, maybe that's the cue to step in and ask questions and listen. So it's not just asking questions, it's listening. I always say, we got 2 ears and 1 mouth. right? So we're really meant to do twice as much listening and talking.
Yeah.
And so when you're struggling yourself or somebody that you care about is struggling, make sure there's space to listen. And don't run in like you've got all the answers.
Yeah. And no one's expecting that. I think sometimes people think, oh, if I talk to them about their mental illness, that somehow you're supposed to fix it.
Yeah. No.
That's not up to the people, or that's up to the person who's experiencing the issue.
Well, it's the
and
same.
the caregivers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the same like when you were talking about diabetes earlier, right?
Yeah.
If you were sharing with somebody, oh yes, I'm taking insulin, or I'm on the pump or whatnot, you might be just telling them about your life. You don't expect them to fix your diabetes.
Exactly. And it's the same goes with mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think that the shame needs to go. I think that we need to work together as a community to deal with the stigma and the shame around mental illness, because it's time now to move forward and really come together as a community to help each other, because someone at one point or another is going to experience a mental health issue.
And they will. It's inevitable. We all have. And the thing that Jackie and I really want to do, and each time we do an episode, we're going to be, let's have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
Let's have an honest conversation about mental health. Let's have an honest conversation about,
sleep problems,
whatever
it is. Yeah.
And that's part of how we intend to
communicate and have a conversation. Yeah. Literally, we're having a conversation with you guys.
Not just a politically correct one.
No, and you guys are invited to put your comments down below, and we'll have a look at them and answer them. But we'll also, take your advice or your feedback or things that you want to know more about, and we'll try and help with that as well. Bearing in mind, though, that the big disclaimer, and it'll be everywhere all the time, is that although we are professionals, this isn't considered to be medical advice for any particular person. We're really talking in generalities here, and really at the end, the advice we'll always give is to see your own physician or mental health specialist. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I'm not providing counseling. Right on this channel, but we are sharing insights, tips, and and we really want, like Jackie said, this to be a conversation. Yeah. So please feel free. You are invited to participate
and to
in
share.
This important
That's
conversation.
what this space is all about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us again.
You.
Bye.
Thanks.
We'll see you next week. Bye.